Okay, this is Cycling Tours with Osborne, and I'm sitting down with my friend Bill. Bill, how do you pronounce your last name?
Taitano.
Bill Taitano. Uh, Bill is a local legend in the cycling community around Tulsa. And so, Bill, how long you been cycling now?
30 plus years.
30 plus years. What got you into cycling?
I was a runner originally, and as a runner, you tend to push yourself to the limit just like any other sport. And so I started doing marathons, and next thing I know, I started having stress fractures and knee issues, and before you know it, I have a doctor telling me you need to quit running. And so I had some cartilage damage done, and next thing you know, I'm having surgery on my right knee. And so I took his advice and decided to kind of slow that running down and possibly do some cycling. Yeah, it's cross training. And so when I started doing the cycling, I really started enjoying it, and it was a lot of fun. And next thing you know, I'm starting to do other cycling events, and then the running kind of went to the wayside.
Okay. So, how old were you when you started cycling?
I was actually right around 42 years old, 41,
Okay.
42. Yeah.
So, how old are you now, Bill?
I'm 73.
Okay, I was talking to some friends a week or so ago, and she was saying that she was 63 and she was thought about riding, but she was too old to ride. And I just want you to say something to speak to people of where they are right now.
Well, and that's funny because I've had a lot of people say the same thing to me, or I'll be riding and I'll meet someone on the trail, and they'll go, "I'm too old to do this."
Yeah.
And I'll say, "Well, excuse me, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?" And they'll say, "Well, I'm 53," and I'm going, "Well," I said, "I've got 20 years on you, so you're never really too old. It's just a
Exactly.
mindset."
It's just a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Bill. Appreciate that. So you've been cycling now for all these years, and you're getting ready to do a epic cycling adventure. You want to tell us something about that?
Yes, there's a group of 8 of us, and let me start back at the beginning. Back in 2018, I was invited to do Race Across America with a group of friends, and so I'd been training. 2018 was a good year for me because I had completed uh, uh, 16,000 miles for the year and had done 34 centuries. And so I had a really good year. And
So So a century is a 100-mile ride.
it's a 100
Okay.
mile ride within the day.
Right,
That's
right.
considered a century.
Right.
So, I mean, you could break it up if you want to. If you want to do like 60 miles, and then take a break and then do the other 40, you're still doing it within
Within one day.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or you can do it all at one time.
Right. Just not just stop for water and
Right,
Right.
correct. And,
Gotcha.
and usually that's usually the case is that most people will do it all in one day. But I have found that when you hit 73 years old, sometimes having that little, 30-minute to eat a sandwich and
Right.
just kind of stretch out and relax and then go do the other 40, 30 minutes to an hour later, that's also good too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so back to your race across America.
So so back in 2018, I was invited by some friends to do the Race Across America, and so we trained into 2019, and so the towards I think it was July of 2019, I was told that we weren't going to be able to do that race, and so. At that time, I was 71 years old, and I was like, oh my gosh, my time clock's ticking.
Right.
So if I'm going to do this race, I need to do it pretty soon because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And so, funny thing happened to me in 2019. I started having heart issues, and my lower register of my heart wasn't keeping up with the upper register, and so I had to go in to see a heart specialist, and he says, well, he says, your lower node is not keeping up with the upper register. He says it's a 2-to-1 ratio, and so there's options here. Option one is that you can live a normal life, but you can't push yourself very hard.
And that's not going to work for you.
And that was not going to work for me. Even at 70 plus years old, I still like being a competitive cyclist. And so what happened, he said, well, option two is we put a pacemaker in.
Right.
And I said, well, that's a no-brainer. Let's go with option two,
So let me get this right. So you're 73,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a pacemaker,
Yeah,
and you get ready to do Race Across America.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to get the facts right.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Excellent.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, we got the pacemaker put in, and we got it dialed in, and of course it had to be dialed in at least 9 times, for me to be able to perform with it. On top of that, I also had some cold-induced asthma issues, and so that really kind of became more my Achilles heels, and then the heart problem is because I was having problems breathing. So that caused my heart rate to go up. So every time my heart rate got up to 150, 151, my performance went completely down. I would have to take a break, rest, get my air intake back in, and then take off again. And so that was pretty much slowing me down. Well, 2019, I'm still training. I haven't stopped training. As a matter of fact, the day that right after my surgery, the doctor told me, he says, well, Mr. Taitano, you can start walking, shortly here. Pretty soon we'll have an aide come in and help you walk. And so that particular day I walked 3 miles around the corridor of the hospital, and he says, sir, he says, when I said walk, I didn't mean doing marathons around the hospital. And I said, yeah, okay. And he says, you're ready to go, aren't you? And I said, absolutely. So he went ahead and let me go home. And,
Yeah.
and so I went home and did another 3 miles before I actually went back in the house. And so my training never stopped. And so luckily I was able to start riding. I was still having a little bit of difficulty in my heart rate getting up high enough, and then plus the cold-induced asthma issues. But I was able to dial it in just enough to compete in the Oklahoma State Championship, and which I wasn't going to do originally, but my really good friend Joel Cantor talked me into doing it, and so at 4 o'clock that morning, I thought, well, I think I'll go do that. And so I did, and luckily I won my age division, and so even with my complications, I was still able to perform beyond my expectations, and so where I'm at now is that I started seeing a different doctor, and because I wanted to see what was going on with my breathing, and why I couldn't get enough air intake, because that's been my Achilles heel, since 2019. And so found a new doctor and showing him all my medications, and he says, well, Mr. Taitano, you're being treated for pollen, allergy pollen issues, and he says that's causing your breathing restrictions. So he put me on some different medications, and within a week, I started noticing a big difference. Within the past month, I've surpassed my cycling ability to where I'm back
to where you were
where I
before.
used to be.
Yeah. Excellent.
Or within that capacity.
Right.
Right. I mean, age is always going to be a factor.
Absolutely.
And you still can't ride with young guys, but you can stay with the 40 and 50-year-olds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So, Race Across America, that's June 19th.
June 19th, and we are leaving out June the 11th and heading towards Oceanside, California. There was a group of us, and we're all amateur cyclists.
Bill,
There's none of us that are professional.
You're
racers.
an amateur, but as much as you ride, I consider you as a professional amateur. How's that?
Well, I appreciate that. I
All you
appreciate
guys,
that. Yeah.
y'all put in a lot of miles.
Yes,
Put
we
in the
do,
work.
and let me tell you, I'm really proud of our team. We have a great team of 8 people. We have six men and 2 ladies that are racing our team, and then young Carter Newcomb, who is a member of our team also. He is an alternate for the race event in the event that someone has some
Can't
difficulty
pull
and
out, right.
can't race. And I thought for a moment that was going to be me, and so, but I'm okay, except I do have another issue that I wasn't quite ready for because I started limping, and I finally went to see my new doctor, and so they had an MRI done on my knee, and I found out that I had a torn ACL, and my cartilage is completely gone on my left knee. And so I asked my new doctor, I said, well, tell me something I don't already know. And he goes, well, your right knee is just as bad.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm dealing with 2 bad knees, but you fight through that threshold of pain, and you just persevere, and you just move forward. And hopefully, after RAM and I'm looking past the summer, to possibly get 2 new rebuilt knees.
Okay. So, your charity that you're supporting on Race Across America?
Yeah, we have several charities. One is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We have Hope is Oxygen. Linda Pulver, who's one of my very good close friends, she's the founder of Hope is Oxygen. And we also have Coffee Bunker that we're supporting. And then we have the Mental Health Association of Oklahoma. But what we want to do is channel more towards Coffee Bunker because they're local, and Hope is Oxygen. And a little bit about those 2. Hope is Oxygen, again, is Linda Pulver is the founder. And the reason why she's so passionate about it is because her daughter had attempted suicide several times, as a young person. And so Linda has been so tremendous at working towards helping people, and families for that matter, for those that are on the threshold of committing suicide or those that have committed suicide, and it's helping their families, to deal with that situation. Coffee Bunker, an organization also in the Tulsa area, and they work and help veterans that are suffering from PTSD and homeless veterans for that matter. And so we try to work with both charities, and so our goal and objective for Race Across America is to send hope and awareness by doing this cycling event, and so that we bring this forward so that people realize that we're here for a reason. And we're not just a cycling team, we're also proactive. I mean, we have calls all the time regarding someone that's having issues and problems, and we try to lead them in the right direction. One prime example is our young Carter Newcomb, a young man from Midland, Michigan. He had attempted suicide clear back when he was 15 years old. Kid is 18 years old right now. And so he pulled a bicycle out of a dumpster and decided that the way he would save his life is if he took that bike that he found in a dumpster and rebuilt it and rode it across America. So his goal was to ride from Midland, Michigan all the way to California, which he did. But during his journey, he landed in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and there was a ride alert out that there was a kid stranded on a bicycle that was loaded down, and several of the cyclists from the Tulsa area went to go rescue him, including our own Mike Gillian, who is the president of Team Air Assurance Racing and also on our Team Suicide Prevention race team. And so Mike rescued him. He notified all of us that there was a young man in trouble, and so we all jumped in to help. We provided him with some food and some money, and Mike got him a place to live, for the night at a hotel. Fed him that evening and early that morning, and so we rode with him from the Sapulpa area out towards Bristow. And so with that said, we followed him through his journey, and we kept track of him. As a matter of fact, Charlotte Lindley and I would track him and find out where his next stay was going to be. Prior to that, a young guy was sleeping on a painter's tarp on the side of the road. Once it got dark, started getting dark, that was his place to sleep, wherever he landed. And so we thought, well, let's see if we can find him places. So we would search ahead, and Charlotte would look up different organizations, charitable organizations, churches, things of that nature, YMCA's. And she would give me a list of numbers, and I would call these places and just do a cold call. And it was amazing how many people were willing to help this guy. And they didn't know me from anybody. Yeah. They just took my word that there was this kid in trouble and needed help. And there were so many people that reached out and gave of themselves to help him. And I'm just blessed to hear that there's a lot of good people in this world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, like I said, we managed to help him during his journey and make sure he got there safe. And so, long story short, Carter Newcomb is now living in Tulsa.
And he works at this bike shop.
And he works at Bixby Bicycles, is where we're at this juncture of his life. He's off today, and Buster Brown is the owner of Bixby Bicycle, and Buster Brown is a great supporter of Team Suicide Prevention. As a matter of fact, he has helped us so much. He has raised so much money to help us in our endeavor.
Yeah. So, Bill, is there anything else that you'd like to tell the people that are listening how to support you in suicide prevention?
Yeah. If you would go to our website, www.teamsuicideprevention.com, just go to that website and pull it up. One of my dear close friends and teammates, Craig Jackson, has created this website, and it's probably one of the most unique websites out there because it tells a complete story about us and our team and what we're about and the charities that we're working with. And if you go to that website, you'll see who we are and what we're doing. And then if you'd love to donate, we would appreciate it. Like I said, our goal is to spread hope and awareness throughout America as we're traveling and racing. We're enduring something that's probably going to be one of the hardest enduring sports ever for me, and I feel like I've been through a lot of them in my time, but we're all doing this for a purpose and for a reason, is to raise hope and awareness. And the money that we're raising, we hope to give back to the community and to our organizations that we're supporting. And another organization that I failed to mention is Walk Out of Darkness. And as a matter of fact, two of the ladies that are crew members, and let me say this, we can't do this race without our crew members. They are the heart and soul of our team, and we're so blessed to have them there to support us and help us, because we're just racing. We're out there grinding, pushing ourselves beyond the limit, but they're supporting us. They're driving, they're navigating for us, telling us which way to go. And this race is a time trial. It's strictly a time trial race, so everything is based on time. And so we're planning on doing 3,000 miles, 170,000 feet of climbing in 7 days.
7 days.
The 9 days is the cutoff.
Yeah.
So that's our goal. That's our objective.
Okay.
And our main objective, of course, is suicide prevention and mental health awareness.
Right. Bill, thank you very much. This has been an awesome interview, and I wish you the absolute very best on your race across America.
Thank
and
you,
your
Oz,
cause.
and I appreciate you because you've been a dear, close friend of mine, and I support everything that you do because you're a wonderful, kind human being, and I appreciate your friendship very much.
Thank you, Bill. I'll slip you that 20 as soon as we get out there, Bill.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.